So we see lots of questions posed by players all around on Steam and Discord and YouTube and Facebook, etc. And I thought for this devblog, I'd try to answer some of those. Let's start with a simple or seemingly simple one. Are there any plans to make territory hex colors customizable? So this is not a big task. I mean, it's certainly doable, but we have, I don't know, a list of 100, maybe more, small quality of life, minor improvements that we can make to the game. And basically it's a constant struggle trying to prioritize them. What's the bang for the buck? Is that big enough that we should do it sooner than later? And certainly if we should do it now, when it will take some time away from work on the Saga? Or should we push it down the road to some point in the future when we're basically done with the larger game? Honestly, this one is not very high up on the list. It's competing with many, many other things that we might do to improve the game. Now we have some questions about the Saga. If all your pups die, will the year continue on rather than resetting you into the past like it currently does? And yes, indeed, if all your pups die, you'll just keep on playing. The time will just keep on going by. If it's your first litter of pups, then you and your mate will just hang out and live the rest of the year hunting and exploring and whatnot. In future years, once you have pups already, if the pups of the year die, then you'll have your yearlings at least until the next spring rolls around and you get another litter of pups. How will hierarchy play out when the pups are older? There will be more emphasis on establishing dominance? No, the packs generally are a family unit. Now in Yellowstone, because there's so much prey, these packs can get larger and more complex than typically wolf packs do elsewhere in the world, and this can lead to more complexity in these relationships between different individuals in the pack. But generally, wolves don't have intra-pack dominance challenges. I asked this directly of Dan Staler, a Yellowstone wolf biologist and one of our advisors, because it would be cool to have that kind of drama, but he's like, nope, that is just not known to happen. Having a 3-year-old wolf in a pack challenge one of the parents, one of the breeders for that role. They don't do that. They head out and find their own thing. Will the Saga be released in stages or all at once? So there are some aspects of the Saga that we will be rolling out incrementally, and the courtship overhaul that we released last month was one of those, and there will be some others, but a lot of it is really kind of interlocking parts that all has to be built and connected and woven together to really work, and so the bulk of it probably is going to be released all at once. Will there be any new achievements when the Saga is released? Yes. Are there going to be collectible objects on the new Lost River map? Yes. And those are going to be more fun because we don't have to restrict ourselves to things that would be plausibly found out in the Yellowstone wilderness. Will I be able to bring my mate from Lost River to Slough Creek in Amethyst, or vice versa? No. A couple reasons for that. One is that Lost River is some distance away. We don't know exactly where, and certainly wolves have been known to travel very long distances, 1,000 kilometers or more, but generally those are solo wolves who are looking for a new place to have a territory and find a mate. It's much, much less common for a pair of wolves to travel that far. And the other reason, maybe more importantly, is that Lost River is kind of its own world and some weird things have happened there. And Yellowstone, the maps in Yellowstone, we want to really make those as realistic and grounded in the real world as we can. And I just don't think that Lost River's world should be connected to that in any way. It's its own little alternate universe where we can have some fun with things. Basically, what happens in Lost River stays in Lost River. Multiplayer. Will there be a multiplayer mode where you can put players in different packs and have territory battles? We have thought about this since starting work on Anniversary Edition, and it sounds really cool and certainly realistic in many ways. But the way that multiplayer is shaped up has actually made it much harder to implement this. It would take some substantial work to kind of harden the game to prevent cheating. But what makes it especially tricky is that there are things that the game requires, like teleporting when you get caught behind enemy lines and it's time to sleep, that are part of the game, and so we can't prevent those, we can't prohibit those, and yet a malicious player could possibly use those to really cause trouble. And there are just a number of other issues with a competitive PvP scenario, and so this will remain on the back burner, at least for now. Another multiplayer question, will we be able to change who gets to be the host if the current host needs to leave? This is called host migration. Obviously, it's a very, very desirable feature. It's technically challenging, but we understand that it would be a very, very helpful thing to have. So it is something we're going to look into at some point. Okay, here's a popular one. Where are the bighorn sheep? We've been planning to add bighorn sheep for a good long while now, but because they spend their time up on the cliffs, we need to do some work on the physics and the IK and the grounding functionality to get them to work well. So they're waiting patiently until Miko gets a chance to dig into that and do some improvements or an overhaul of how all that worked, which should also fix some other bugs around big rocks and stuff. And then more importantly, where are the toads? Yeah, we had a little video showing a pup pouncing on a toad a very long time ago. Tommy's going to be working on more interesting, playful, and practice hunting behaviors for the pups. And I think the toads will finally make an appearance along with that. Now here's a good question. Are there any major parts of the game development process that often don't get shown in devblogs? Yeah, most parts don't get shown on devblogs because most parts look like this. Tommy and Miko and Andre sitting at their computers working on code, creating the game, creating all the functionality that makes the game. But it's not real exciting to show people coding. Although Tommy also notes that perhaps the most important moments are not sitting at the computer, but out walking around and thinking, or not even thinking about it, but you have a problem that you put in the back of your mind and you just let it kind of percolate there while you're doing other stuff. And, an answer will very often pop into your mind when you're not even thinking about it. What are the team's favorite and least favorite bugs? This varies by person. Mine have always been the goofy graphical ones that have been fun to show off in devblogs. Tommy likes bugs that are easy to reproduce and hard to solve. Miko's least favorite is the Windows file system issue, which are the main reason why games fail to load when you load a save. It suddenly can't find that game file that it just read 20 seconds before for inexplicable reasons that we have never been able to reproduce. And Andre's favorite bug is an old one of a giant mule deer that fills the screen and has big bright eyes. What's been your favorite part of developing the Lost River map so far? I've been having a lot of fun developing it and working on some nice, cool little spots in it. But if I shared them here, I'd just have to delete this video before anybody saw it. So you'll just have to wait. In what ways has the community helped shape the game? Well, the game wouldn't exist without the community. You know, the community began forming before the game even was released back in 2007 and kept us going through those years with so much encouragement and enthusiasm. And absolutely, if that had died off when we stopped developing the game in 2010-11, then that would have been the end of it. But people kept downloading the game, kept playing the game, and it was enough for me to think in 2014 that, maybe we should revive this. And then enough people bought WolfQuest 2.7 that made me think, geez, maybe we could actually start over and really try to come closer to reaching the potential for this game. So fundamentally, the community is responsible for the game by being there. But going beyond that, we get so many ideas and suggestions that have really informed the game, along with beta testers, public and private, who really help shape the direction of all the new features and gameplay that we've been developing and adding. So ultimately, it's really a collaboration between the team and our ideas about what kind of game we want to make, and wolf researchers who published an enormous amount of knowledge about wolf biology and ecology, and our players who contribute their energy and ideas and suggestions about what kind of game they want to play. And final question, what is your favorite place in Yellowstone? Well, I'd be hard-pressed to pick a favorite place. Slough Creek has been my favorite for a good number of years, but we found others too. Last September, we hiked up on to Bunsen Peak, which overlooks the Mammoth area, and that was incredible. And we did another hike into an area in the Northern Range that most likely going to be another map after Tower Fall. Not quite ready to announce that yet, but it has that combination of mountains and valleys and forests and grasslands and rivers and couple cool special spots that I think would make an excellent map, and certainly it's a place that I hope to visit again. Oh, one more question. Are there more coats coming? Yes, we released this DLC pack of 15 Yellowstone wolf coats last year, and we are now working on another DLC pack that will have more new coats. And that brings me to a question for you all. Would you like to nominate a Yellowstone wolf to be included in this next DLC? If so, post their name in the comments below, and if you have a link to a nice photo of that wolf, please include that. And we will look them over and see what we can do.